Good morning. My name is Eric Aguiar. I've been in law enforcement for 12 years, in the legal field for 20 years. So, a collective 32 years of resolving or attempting to resolve or having the intentions to resolve people's issues with each other, sometimes people's issues with themselves, and many times people's issues with the law and interactions they may have had. I'm not the expert in the room, but what makes me qualified beyond my years of experience and training is that I care. I'm a proponent of solution-oriented policing, which currently doesn't exist. And when you seek solutions between people having issues, there are three causes that normally cause contention: lack of understanding, lack of knowledge, and lack of training. And again, there are literally hundreds of modules of police training where the officer is introduced to concepts such as community policing, such as de-escalation. But I have not seen a solid program that educates the public on their role and their responsibility in public safety. The main issue that exists in the current community policing model that is ever latent is that it is the sole focus of those programs to harp on the police's responsibility of the police civilian interaction, with zero focus on the public's responsibility for that interaction. The public has a tremendous, unspoken of responsibility in the public safety effort. The biggest problem with the community-oriented policing model as it stands is that it places 100% of the responsibility of the outcome of every incident on the officer. Is that reasonable? Is it reasonable when there are two or more parties involved in an issue together that you go ahead and place rules and penalties on only one of those sides? That's not sustainable, and it's seen in current affairs. There are departments that literally break records in innovation in their community policing efforts. But proof that it's not working, to me, is that the second that agency has to take police action, the public pulls back their trust. At the heart and core of community policing is the intention to establish the partnership necessary for fluid transaction in the public's need for law enforcement. And what I've seen to be holding us back as a society is that the public has not been helped to understand that it is indeed a partnership. I'd like to introduce you today an idea. It's going to catch you off guard, and you're probably not going to agree with it on the onset. But I believe if you give it a chance and listen to reason, you'll see what I'm saying. Police are not providers of public safety. I'll say it one more time. Police are not providers of public safety. The cell phone company is a provider of communication. How so? They provide the cell phone and the line, and your only responsibility as a customer is to pay your monthly due. Public safety, though, doesn't work that way, because public safety is everybody's responsibility. How so? Is it reasonable for a person to expect the officer to care more about their life than they care about their own life? Is it reasonable and a coherent practice for the public to believe that the officer is more responsible for their property than they are for their own property? Is it wise for the public to expect law enforcement to know their rights more than they do? Put another way, how reasonable and responsible is it if I choose to get upset with law enforcement because I decided to leave my laptop in the front seat of my vehicle overnight. How reasonable and responsible is it for me to be upset with a patrol officer because I decided to walk around in a bad neighborhood with my earphones on and I get mugged? And while we will never blame the victim, I would feel irresponsible if I didn't let the public know that there are things that you can do to minimize your risk of being victimized. That there are things you can do to help law enforcement know what your needs are. Hopefully, now that we have a better understanding or an understanding that the public and the police are indeed partners in public safety, that puts us in a unique and empowering position. What if we took things back to the ground up? And from the ground up, as people, as communities, as organizations, we made a list, a from the ground up list, wherein we manifest what we think police should be doing to help us be safer. And then, very critical, if we sat down with law enforcement and law enforcement leadership and actually listened to their feedback on what they need from us to help meet our needs. If you are a city council or a private organization that has a genuine interest in fortifying the partnership between public safety and police, in finding better and more productive ways of working as partners alongside your police department, making this from the ground up list is a very good beginning. If you would like help in getting the from the ground up list started, if you need consultation and direction, if you need someone to help lead those meetings, or reach out to partners, I'd be happy to help. My email is tacticalpoliceleadership9@gmail.com. Every public safety partnership made today will pave the way for the safer communities of tomorrow. Thank you so much for listening. God bless.